Okay, greetings YouTube. Here we go, part 2 of my next Thundercats shipment. We have Tigra. So we're going to take a look at Tigra today and 2 other of the Thundercats that I've received recently. If you did not see part 1 yet, I will put a link up here for part 1 that you can check out. I also did a discussion video talking about the Thundercats as a whole when I first got my first few of them. So let's take a look at Tigra right now. And there we go. So there is Tigra. And let's have him out of the package and have a look at him. Okay, so here we have Tigra out of the package, and to be completely fair and completely honest, if you've been watching any of my Thundercat videos, you know that I am fawning, absolutely fawning over this line. But Tigra seems to have some QC issues. I was watching in the whole, one of the whole reasons and or information sources that I went to for Thundercats when I was looking to maybe start to buy some of these guys was a guy named Toy Bro. And I don't know if you guys know about him, but he is a famous toy reviewer, and he is into all the nostalgia type lines. So he had a whole series on all the different Thundercats. He was getting them early from Super7 and everything else. So there's a couple of issues with Tigra, with at least with my Tigra and with Tigra in general. So on this elbow, apparently he's supposed to have some like pad or armor type thing right here, and it's not there, either because they missed it or because they forgot to do it or whatever the case. I don't know what happened, but it's not there. That really isn't that huge of a deal to me. I mean, I know some people are really into specific, minutia being perfect to the cartoon. That's not that big of a deal to me. It'd be different if he was missing his Thundercat symbol or something, but a elbow pad, I'm not gonna cry about that. However, some of these QC issues are not good. So as soon as I took him out of the package, as you can see here, there is a paint imperfection here. I don't even know what this is, because under it is painted the color it's supposed to be, but there's like a plaster kind of thing here, and I'm gonna have to probably sand that. And then you got some paint nicks here. That's ugly. That's not good. Can I fix that? Sure, but it's gonna take more than just an alcohol swab. So that's a problem. Then on his body, and I don't know if this is supposed to be shading or what, but he looks dirty. Like he slid into second base. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is all this? And there's a little bit on the back of him too. So I think it maybe was supposed to be shading, but it doesn't look like shading. It just looks like dirt. So that's disappointing. It's disappointing. And he's a little loose as well. Like his ankles are a little loose, and his hips are a little loose. They're not horribly loose, but they're looser than these other guys. The last figures I've been looking at, I've, raved and ranted about how stiff and smooth they were. He's not as stiff. He's a little loose. So, I mean, look, can I fix that? Sure, I can get the mop and glow or whatever it is you use and put it in his joints to stiffen that up a little bit. It's fine, I can do it, but it's disappointing. So it's past the QC issues, he looks very, very good. He looks like Tigra. I know some people were complaining that his orange was too orange, but I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. He looks like Tigra. It's not like I'm going to look at him and say, hey, what character is that? I know exactly who this is. So, and then some other people or some other complaints about him was that he is a little bit too muscled up. He's too jacked. He should be a little bit more, streamlined or lithe, as they say. Look, they're using pretty much the same mold for every one of these guys that's of similar size. So it is what it is. Would I have liked him to be a little bit thinner? maybe, but if you watch the cartoon, all of them dudes are completely jacked. Like, they're ripped, they're huge, they're overly muscled, they're superheroic proportions. So I'm not gonna complain about a dude looking too muscled up. All right, let's have a look at his accessories. All right, so once again, Super 7 comes through with the accessories. So you get an extra head of Tiger growling. You have his whip that is not extended. So basically before he uses it, in this tray, there's nothing else. And then you also get 2 extra pairs of hands. And then you also get 2 whips. You get a whip that is on a regular plastic string, and then you get one that's on a real string. So you can do a lot of things with that. And I appreciate that they did both. You didn't have to do both. Like, I wasn't expecting both, to be honest. Like, if I would have got one of these and the one that's, you know, not activated yet, I probably would have been happy. But with 2 of them, that makes me very happy. So good work on his accessories. All right, let's see who's next. Okay, so we are here at the home stretch. We got 2 more of these guys to go. And we are going to have Slive, the quote-unquote de facto leader of the mutants, as long as Rotaro isn't around. So let's have a look at Slive. We're going to take him out of the slipcover, and there we have him. And my dude is looking excellent. He looks exactly like he looked in the cartoon. Okay, so I know I've said this several times, but it bears repeating. It is absolutely amazing how well they can replicate the cartoon aesthetic with these figures. Take it from somebody who is old school. I was collecting action figures back in the 80s when I was a kid. You know, I obviously wasn't a collector back then. I was getting them to play with them. But we just understood that the toys that you got were not going to look like the cartoon. If they did resemble it in any way, you were, you know, ecstatic. This right here is damn near witchcraft. Like, it looks, I'm gonna put a picture of him right next to this toy, this piece of plastic, so you can see how well Super 7 has replicated the cartoon aesthetic. It is absolutely crazy. So here's Slive. He is the leader of the mutants. He is one of the main bad guys. He shows up all throughout the series. And this is if whether you're watching the original cartoon or the one that came out in 2011. Haven't messed with Thundercats Roar, the silly one that was all weird and weirdly animated. I'm not even going to bring that one up again, but just know that I am not including that in Thundercats lore. The original cartoon and the one in 2011, yes. The other stuff for the other cartoon, Thundercats Roar, no. Yeah, Slive is great. He is just, he's great. This is a excellent figure. He is hideously ugly, and that makes him beautiful because he is exactly what he was supposed to be. You got the huge humpback, you got the spikes, you got his what passes for clothing, you got his ugly mug, you have his little crown thing, you have his long arms and his short stubby legs and his tail and his scales. Like, goodness gracious, this thing is good. Like, if you're a Thundercats fan and you're kind of thinking like, that's a lot of money to spend on a bunch of figures, and maybe you're thinking, all right, I'll just get a couple of the main ones and then I'll call it quits. I don't need all the different, extra characters. This is a must get. He is a must get. Buy me! Yes! Okay, so looking at Slive's accessories, considering that this is a very heavy, very plastic heavy, very substantial figure. You don't get as many accessories with him, and I ain't even mad at it. So you get his mace, you get 2 extra hands, you get another axe. Actually, you get 2 axes, or is that axes? You get another axe and another axe, and then you get another head sculpt. Very, very good. Very well done. Whew. Slythe is spectacular. Okay, let's go to the main event. Okay, so last one for this go round of Thundercats is mumm-ra, the ever living. Yes, mumm-ra is a lot more figure. I have to adjust for this guy. Yes. He's big. He's very big. This is mumm-ra after the ancient spirits of evil imbue him with all types of spiritual energy. He turns into this walking hulk of a demon, sorcerer, priestess, or priest, bad guy, super villain, literally. All right, let's have a look at it. Okay, so here we have mumm-ra, the ever living, in his powered up form. So, a couple of things about mumm-ra. So, there has been talk, I know Toy Bro mentioned it, and I've started to notice it as I've gotten the figures in. Depending on what episode you're watching, or what part of what episode you're watching, mumm-ra comes off as a grayish color, maybe a bluish gray, and then sometimes a blue. In figure form, he has come out to be very blue. If I was doing mumm-ra myself, if I was the person deciding what color he would be a little bit more gray than this. This is a little bit too blue. Now, don't get me wrong. This figure is spectacular. It's awesome. Do have a little bit of weirdness here with, looks like the same dirt that was on Tigra. But as far as the symbol on his chest, that looks great. His face sculpt is great. All that detail, his gnarled up teeth and wrinkled face, his headdress, the snakes, the tassels flying everywhere, his musculature, the bandages, his loincloth. He is very well done. Very well done. I don't have a whole lot of complaints about him aesthetically as a figure. I think I would prefer him to be a little bit more gray. So, I can't even believe I'm about to say this, but I'm tossing around the idea of maybe dry brushing him with a little bit of gray, just to give him that tint. But I don't want to ruin my $60 figure. He is a little bit loose in the hips too. I'm noticing that's a little bit too loose. So that may need some work. But yeah, he looks great. The flowing bandages all over the place, some hanging off, some wrapped around. That's very well done. So I don't have a whole lot of gripes with this version of mumm-ra. He looks very good. And if you can get over the blue, he's perfect, you know. But I would like him to be a little bit more gray. In fact, he comes with ma-mutt, which, as ridiculous as this sounds, in the second season, he somehow acquired a big magic bulldog that he was able to use as a proxy. He assigned assignments to, he was lovingly affectionate with. It was kind of weird, but For all of you saying, all right, that's ridiculous. Why would a, high priest, demon, sorcerer, supervillain have a dog? Well, nearly every cool character in G.I. Joe had some type of pet, so it is what it is. And speaking of ma-mutt, I would rather mumm-ra have been this color. Ma-mutt is the gray that I'm looking for. Like, let me put this up here. This is the gray that he probably should have been. And I know it's very close, but that's the gray that he should have been, I think. My opinion. All right, so let's have a look at his accessories. So he gets, let's see here, he gets 2 trays of accessories. You get, first tray, you have his screaming head. That's very well done. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 extra hands. Hands are always appreciated. You get a soft goods version of his cape, which is attached with some things here, so I'm gonna have to get that off of there. But you also get this mace and then the Sword of Blundar in its full form. In the regular version of mumm-ra, you get the hilt, but in this version, you get the sword in all its glory. Completely extended, huge, double-bladed. And the cape is wired, in case you're wondering. Okay, so final thoughts on these Thundercats. I'm sure it's pretty obvious if you watched any of these videos. I really love the line. I am into them. The looks are great. The nostalgia factor is hitting all the right buttons. There are a few missteps, Tiger in particular, lots of QC things and weird stuff, but overall, they're looking really good, and I'm looking forward to getting many more of them. I still need the kittens, some of the other tertiary characters, so I'm all in. All right, like, comment, subscribe. Later.